Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we trace the shifting tides of royal fortune and uncover the human emotions that ripple beneath the glittering surface of the British monarchy. Today, we're turning our attention to one of the most resilient yet controversial figures in modern royal history, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. For nearly 4 decades, Sarah's name has been intertwined with that of the royal family. Her life a fascinating mixture of glamour, scandal, redemption, and unrelenting public attention. From her exuberant entry into royal life in the 1,980 seconds to her determined reinvention as an author and philanthropist, the Duchess of York has lived in the full glare of the world's spotlight. Yet, now, as 2025 unfolds, whispers have begun to circulate, whispers suggesting that this long and turbulent chapter of her British life may soon close for good. It is a moment of deep reflection for a woman whose entire adult identity has been bound to the royal institution. Once affectionately known as Fergie, Sarah Ferguson is now reportedly considering leaving the United Kingdom altogether, potentially stepping away from the country that both made and broke her in equal measure. The spark that ignited this extraordinary turn of events came earlier this year when old email correspondence between Sarah and the late Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender, resurfaced and made international headlines. Though the messages were years old, their reappearance triggered an immediate wave of outrage. The media frenzy was fierce, the public reaction harsh. For those who had watched Sarah's slow journey toward rehabilitation, her cancer battle, her charitable work, her growing presence on social media, this was a devastating blow. But this, tragically, was only the beginning. Within days, attention shifted to her former husband, Prince Andrew, and a newly unearthed letter he had written to Epstein. The timing could not have been worse. With the monarchy already under pressure to distance itself from past scandals, this revelation proved catastrophic. Public anger reached a boiling point, and under immense scrutiny, Andrew made the painful decision to relinquish his title, the Duke of York, a title deeply tied to centuries of royal tradition and family honor. Yet for many in Britain, that was still not enough. The trust between the public and the Duke had been irrevocably damaged. Finally, on October 30th, King Charles III, in an unprecedented move, formally stripped his brother of all remaining royal titles and honors, effectively ending Andrew's formal association with the monarchy. This decision, while firm and necessary, reverberated beyond the walls of Buckingham Palace. It placed Sarah Ferguson, who has always remained close to her ex-husband, despite their 1,996 divorce, in an impossible position. The two had continued to live together at Royal Lodge, their elegant Georgian home within Windsor Great Park, a place filled with memories of raising their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. But now, even that sanctuary has been lost. Under the King's directive, the couple must vacate Royal Lodge, bringing an end to decades of shared domestic stability. The order, while practical, was deeply symbolic. It represented the final severing of their royal ties, a quiet but painful exile from the life they once knew. For Sarah, it is more than just a move. It's the end of an era. Royal Lodge had been her anchor, her one remaining link to the family that shaped her destiny. Leaving it means not just packing away possessions, but closing a door on a lifetime of memories, weddings, holidays, and moments of laughter that once made the sprawling estate feel like home. But where does she go from here? That question has become the focus of growing speculation. Some sources within royal circles suggest that King Charles, ever the compassionate brother-in-law, has been discreetly arranging for Andrew and Sarah to move into private accommodation within the Sandringham estate. The plan would allow them to live quietly and privately, while remaining under the broader protective umbrella of the royal family. It's a compromise, a gesture of mercy from the king, allowing them to remain nearby, if not officially within the fold. Yet, a far more dramatic possibility has captured the imagination of royal watchers. According to royal expert Phil Dampier, Sarah Ferguson may be contemplating a complete relocation to Australia, the home of her beloved sister, Jane Ferguson Ludeke. As Dampier revealed in Women's Day, the Duchess has been receiving not only emotional support from Jane, but also a heartfelt invitation to start anew down under. Her sister Jane recently came over to comfort her, Dampier explained, and she has suggested Sarah could always move to be near her in Australia. It's an idea that makes sense on many levels. For years, Sarah has spoken warmly of her affection for Australia, its people, its energy, and its easygoing spirit. Unlike the often harsh and judgmental tone of the British press, Australians have tended to greet her with genuine warmth and curiosity. There, she is seen less as a scandalous former royal and more as a woman who has weathered life's storms with resilience and humor. In Australia, Sarah could find something she has rarely known in Britain: freedom. Freedom from the tabloid headlines. Freedom from palace politics. Freedom to rebuild her life without the shadow of past mistakes forever looming overhead. As Dampier poignantly noted, in Australia, she might find an environment where she can pursue her philanthropic and literary interests without the suffocating weight of scandal overshadowing her every move. Of course, the prospect of leaving Britain is not without heartbreak. Sarah's greatest treasures, her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, and her adored grandchildren are all based in the UK. To move halfway across the world would mean exchanging spontaneous family visits for video calls and long-haul flights. As Dampier himself admitted, like many families with loved ones on the other side of the world, she would miss her daughters and grandkids. It would be a painful trade proximity for peace, closeness for clarity. Yet, there's a profound emotional logic to it. After decades of enduring criticism and navigating the emotional wreckage of scandal, perhaps distance is the only way for Sarah to truly heal. She could finally be free to live again. Dampier concluded a phrase that has since resonated with royal followers across the globe. To be free to live again, what a powerful notion for a woman who has spent her adult life under the microscope of monarchy. For Sarah Ferguson, it might mean rediscovering her own identity beyond the titles, beyond the controversy, beyond the shadow of the royal crest. As this new chapter looms, one thing is clear. Whether she remains in Britain under the quiet protection of the king or seeks sanctuary beneath Australian skies, Sarah Ferguson's story is not over. It is evolving from scandal to survival, from exile to independence. Perhaps in the end, this isn't a story of loss at all. Perhaps it is one of renewal, of a woman finally stepping out from the long shadow of royalty and into the sunlight of her own making.